So now we are going to see the summary study of the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita called Vibhuti Yoga. Now it has got two distinct parts. The first part is where Krishna builds up his teachings of bhakti until he comes to the Chaitanya. After that, Krishna moves on to actually address the concept of buddhi based on what he has said. So he continues the teachings of bhakti, which were started in the 9th chapter, and he says, Arjuna, I will tell you again, his focus in this chapter is on how devotion to him, service to him is not a matter of sentiment. So if we understand Krishna's position that he is the source of everything, that he is the source of all virtues in this world, Krishna is. So Krishna talks about how he is the source in terms of history and in terms of quality. In terms of history, that means he says that he is the original progenitor. All living beings come from him. He gives a sequence that is called basically the descent over the generations. And then he talks about how qualities, all qualities ultimately come from him. So in this way, when we understand that everything of value comes from him, the result of that will be absorption. There is not just absorption, but absorption with conviction that Krishna is the highest reality and that there is no reality other than Krishna. So the idea is that it is good to be absorbed in Krishna, but it is better to be absorbed in Krishna with conviction. Vibhuti means the opulence, the greatness, the great things in this world. So many times Krishna talks about this theme of knowing him in truth. There can be sentimental knowing also, but whether it's philosophical knowing, there is knowing in truth, then the result is different. So then we call him a yogi. So first he was talking about God's connection with us. Everything is connected to God, with God. And then the second yoga, a second meaning of is that we connect with God. So without considering any alternatives, we'll wholeheartedly connect with him. So here he's saying that if we remember him, our mind will come to him. Our mind will stay with him. Mind will not go anywhere else. Those who come with philosophical conviction, they will stay steadily. Their mind will not wander. This conviction will bring concentration of the mind. Without conviction, the concentration will depend on emotion or sentiment. Sometimes it's been good, I will focus within full faith. But why do I need to focus? So when there is conviction, then with concentration, and when there is concentration, this way eventually it will lead to purification, and after that purification will come absorption. So concentration is more effortful, but absorption is effortless. So when we understand Krishna's glories, we can focus on Krishna wholeheartedly. So how does conviction lead to greater concentration? Because conviction essentially means that it is Krishna who is the substance and everything else is ultimately insubstantial. That doesn't mean it doesn't matter, but it doesn't matter all that much. So first, Krishna will talk about the principle of attraction. How can we become attracted to him? Everything comes from him. Everything is sustained by him. So that is the idea of God as the creator and the controller. Not just that God has formed the universe and God is no longer there. Bhava is someone who is enriched with emotion. There is this beautiful combination of the heart and head over here. So there are these 4 verses in a sequence to understand. So the first thing Krishna says is that Krishna broadly talks about the first thing, attraction. So the idea is, if we come to know about Krishna, then that will create a longing for him, wholehearted devotion to him. So it has to be transformation in the sense that this knowledge should actually bring about some significant change in our lives. God is our greatest well-wisher. He wants the best for us. So to know Krishna, to knowledge of Krishna, it has many specific details of Krishna performing this pastime, Krishna performing that pastime, but it is to know Krishna has two distinct aspects: to know his position and to know his disposition. Know his position means that he has power, supreme power, not just power, but he has supreme power. And because he has the supreme power, he also has supreme care for us. He has power and he has care. So if you understand Krishna, then we will naturally be attracted. So the next verse talks about association. We are eager to connect with him. And this verse is talking about association. So association is what starts our spiritual journey. When we get good association, that's when we start practicing bhakti. But here Krishna is telling about how association makes the spiritual journey both enjoyable and enlightening. So it's also interesting that Krishna has said in the previous word that these people are Buddha. Buddha means enlightened. So they're always constantly discussing the glories of Krishna and they're becoming enjoyable or satisfied. So while both of them are positive emotions, there are different degrees of positive emotions. Enlightenment means to understand that this Krishna, who is the supreme object of love, in that sense, our hearts, our heads, our consciousness go in hundreds of directions. But after that, what happens is how lovable Krishna is. That is an ongoing discovery all the time. So you always keep coming to know how wonderful Krishna is, and in that sense, the enlightenment goes on. So, like we can take the example of ocean. Ocean, so Krishna's glories are like that of ocean. One person may come to the ocean from here, from one direction, and another person from another direction. But because they have come to Krishna, they have reached the end of their journey. They are enlightened in that sense because they have come to the ocean. But say one person has come to the ocean from here and another person has come from there. Now, what happens is that although it is the same ocean, it is actually the ocean of nectar. And the nectar has slightly different flavors at different places. So when the two of them meet, they can enlighten each other about how wonderful Krishna is, because Krishna is a person and we know him in a relationship. So in a relationship, I will experience Krishna from a particular perspective and you will experience Krishna from another perspective. Then both of us can release that and learn more about our Lord. That's why even the enlightened keep getting further enlightened. And that's the joy of their life, to know more and more about Krishna. So if we consider enlightenment to be a journey, then they may think maybe Krishna is supreme for you, but someone else may think that impersonal is supreme. So that is not the correct understanding. So we should, the proper understanding is that enlightenment is both the journey and the destination. It brings on one side humility. There is much that I don't know, but on the other hand, it also brings clarity. It's not that everything is uncertain. There are certain bedrock truths that are absolutely true. These truths cannot be compromised. This is the idea of enlightenment as both a journey and a destination. So Krishna says that when we are in this state, we can enlighten each other about Him. In the association of devotees, we can be guided. So when we are perplexed, we need guidance. That guidance can come from both outside through the association with devotees and inside through the inner voice of Krishna's teachings. This is discussed in verses 9 and 10 in this chapter. Enlightened devotees continue to enlighten each other because even if we know Krishna is God, we still need guidance on how to serve Him in every situation. Krishna talks about inner guidance. He says, those who are constantly engaged in my service, their life is centered on my service. Krishna himself uses the word Buddhi Yoga in many different places. So, in one context, Krishna is referring Buddhi Yoga as Karma Yoga, and in another context, Buddhi Yoga is to just practice yoga. And sometimes it refers to yoga that gives buddhi. It means that bhakti has a dynamic relationship with buddhi, and understanding this relationship is helpful. In bhakti, the principle is that we focus on service, but when serving, we should use all the intelligence we have. So we maintain priti or affection. Krishna says, don't become bitter, stay positive, stay affectionate, and trust that I have a plan for you, even if you don't understand it right now. So in our service, there is both external success and internal success. The ideal is for both to come together. External success is what we contribute to the world. Internal success is our connection with Krishna. External success may or may not come as it is beyond our control, but internal success is largely in our control. For example, when we speak about Krishna, whether 1 person, 10 people, or 100 people come, we are still enriched. We are internally successful when we connect with Krishna in our service. We are grateful for every opportunity to connect with Krishna. This connection enriches us, and we want to share it with others. Ego is the belief that I can do everything. In contrast, insecurity is thinking I can do nothing, I am worthless. Humility lies in understanding that I can do some things and I need to find out what they are and do them. Humility is not about fixating on our shortcomings, but recognizing that while we are not God, we are also not nothing. We are parts of Krishna, and he has a unique role for each of us. In verses 10 and 11 in this chapter, Krishna speaks of how he provides clarity and the ability to act according to his will. Empowerment in this sense is not just about our intelligence or effort, but about Krishna guiding and energizing us. We become instruments of Krishna's will. Bhakti does not make life easy, but it makes doing the right thing easier. Life's challenges remain, but we are equipped to face them, navigating through them with Krishna's guidance. We may face obstacles, but Krishna will help us overcome them. So Arjuna, after hearing all of Krishna's instructions, accepts Krishna as the Supreme Lord. Yet he asks how he can remember Krishna while dealing with worldly distractions. Krishna responds by listing his divine manifestations or vibhuti in the world. Arjuna seeks to know how to connect with Krishna amidst the many distractions of life. Krishna's vibhuti refers to his special manifestations in the world, the one above the many, manifesting as the greatest among the many. These divine manifestations serve as reminders of Krishna's presence in the world. Vibhuti refers to the extraordinary qualities of people or things that catch our attention. While many objects and people exist, some stand out because of their remarkable attributes. These qualities can either distract us from Krishna or remind us of him, depending on how we perceive them. To effectively use these vibhutis to reach Krishna, we need to select what is favorable and reject what is unfavorable. So once we are well grounded or well established in our bhakti, we may engage with the world more, but always ensuring our focus remains on Krishna. So vibhutis serve two purposes. They can either compete for our attention or point us toward Krishna. The key in bhakti is to direct our attention toward Krishna. So we must discern which vibhutis lead us to him and which ones pull us away. So when Krishna refers to the Pandavas, he uses metaphorical language, but the qualities of the Pandavas are attributed to Krishna's teachings, representing the quality they embody. So Krishna explains that the vibhutis or divine manifestations are specific aspects of the world that can remind us of him. These are not just abstract philosophical concepts, but living realities we encounter in our daily lives. We can use these vibhutis to connect with Krishna, appreciating that they come from him. Krishna's final principle in this teaching is that whatever is attractive or special in this world, whether it's beauty, strength, or brilliance, comes from him. It is a spark of his divine energies. The vibhutis are not just philosophical ideas, they are real experiences that can draw us closer to Krishna. In conclusion, we should pray to Krishna, acknowledging that all the things that attract our hearts and minds come from him. We should seek to be drawn to him through these manifestations rather than being distracted by those that lead us away. So, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.